Am I the asshole for holding my son to a contract and making him pay me back from his education fund? My son came to me with a foolproof investment. I told him it was not a great idea. He said that he had a bunch of money in his education fund and I should just give it to him. He was fresh out of high school and not in post-secondary.
If we had taken money out and he wasn't in school, there was a pretty big tax hit.
I told him that I would loan him the money, but that if his investment didn't pay off, then he had to pay me back from his education fund. I figured it was safe since he can't get the money unless he is in school. We wrote up a contract for the loan including nominal interest. His foolproof investment went poof. He got a job.
It turns out that working for a living is harder than school.
It's been 2 years and he's going to community college this fall. He managed to save up exactly $0 from 2 years of work. He did have a string of girlfriends and a few vacations though.
I told him he has to pay me back before he empties the account.
He got upset that I'm taking his money meant for his education.
I asked him how much money would be in the account if I had let him invest it.
He didn't have an answer. I got my money but he is pissed. His mother is upset that I'm holding him accountable. I told her she could pay me back the loan and he could have all the money in the account. She hung up. I could afford to write off the money. It is substantial but not crippling to my future. But I need him to understand that money isn't free. Not the asshole.
He and his mother are just pissed that you didn't provide money free of consequences.
If you bail your kids financially every time they screw up, they will never learn anything and will keep failing throughout their adult life. So you did your son a favor and he can always come back for more loans, but the next time he will think all through much more carefully and will know about consequences.
The fact that it was described as a foolproof investment shows that he is either being disingenuous or has no idea what he is talking about. A gamble with a positive expectation?
Sure. Foolproof? Lol, no. Not sure about a judgment.
How old was he when he accepted this offer?
If an adult, then probably not the asshole. If not, then likely you are the AH. Enabling a minor to gamble is a bad idea.
That's a no-brainer.
Edit. Not the asshole based on ops comments below. I can't believe the you are the asshole responses here. You are definitely not the asshole. I don't see how anyone could see it any other way. You told him the investment was a bad idea, he signed a loan agreement, and he paid it back.
An expensive lesson for him, but clearly a lesson he needed to learn.
Play that Matchbox 20 song for him. That is, I wish the real world would stop hassling me. Not the asshole. He got a very good lesson. And now you know, like mother, like son. Honestly, sounds like you're the only one with any sense in this story. Not the asshole. Not the asshole.
There is so much right now about being an entrepreneur that is unmitigated bullshit. It's often based on fabricated stories about various figures, and always survival bias. It's important to get the message that wasted money is wasted money.
ETA, and good on you for keeping him from making a worse mistake using the cash advance. Am I the asshole for keeping my daughter away from her mom? My daughter and I moved to another country a few months ago.
It's exactly on the other side of the world from where we used to live. That means that the time difference is almost 12 hours. This has caused many problems with communication between my daughter and her mom. They can't agree on when she should call my daughter. My daughter has told her that calling her at 9 p.m. in our time would be good for both of them since it will be 9 a.m. in their time, but my ex claims that she can't call at that time because she has a baby and a toddler who wake up at around 8-9, so she is too busy to call. My ex thinks she should be able to call at 5 p.m. at their time, which will be 5 a.m. at our time.
I told her absolutely not since my daughter needs a good night's sleep and I won't wake her up at 5 a.m. Also, my daughter loves her sleep and she doesn't want to wake up any sooner than she has to. Now my ex thinks I'm an asshole for keeping my daughter away from her.
She claims I stole her and took her to another country and now I won't even let them talk.
Way too much information missing to make a judgment.
Why did you move halfway around the world?
How old is the daughter?
She claims you stole her. Was it an agreed decision? You move her?
Not the asshole.
What I hear is, I have other kids I care about more. No wonder you have full custody.
Why can't she call at 7 or 8?
Why should the kid make the sacrifice of waking up at 5?
Not the asshole,
It's doable taking care of a toddler and make a phone call. I think she is trying to make this situation harder.
7 p.m. Your time would work.
Mom would have to wake up early, before her children, because it would be her 7 a.m. But I think it's more appropriate to ask the parent to inconvenience themselves, rather than the child.
Not the asshole.
As a teacher, I'm very concerned that your ex expects your daughter to get up at 5 a.m. just to talk. This will leave her tired for the school day and unable to focus on her learning.
So I would say that if a very reasonable refusal. 10 p.m. is also too late as, ideally, she should be sleeping by then. Not always possible for teens, but having a conversation with her mother at this time is not going to help her sleep.
If ex's children sleep till 8 a.m., calling before then would both give her time to speak to your daughter at a reasonable time. She can't expect a child to be the adult and sacrifice to accommodate her.
She's the adult, she needs to find a way to make it work. Not the asshole. First, moving a teen girl away from Iran seems like a good thing. Unless you move to North Korea.
Second, it seems everybody in this story, you, your kid, your ex are fine with low contact as nobody actually wants to make any effort to find compromise.
Keeping in contact is not only on you, but on your ex as well. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my niece? My brother and sister-in-law say they caught me on the nanny cam not watching their child and working instead.
I don't know who all they told this to, but it got back to me. What actually happened is, I was asked to babysit last minute and I said I had scheduled work meetings and deadlines, but since IWFH I could come over with my partner and take care of my niece.
I offered for my partner to watch her with my supervision.
B and sister-in-law agreed to this and I sent several photo and video updates of niece having a lovely time playing with my partner who is really wonderful with children and always so sweet to my niece.
I was horrified that family, friends and who knows else was being told that I was not properly caring for my niece. I communicated my limitation in advance, but they completely left that detail out and made it seem like I blindsided them. I decided to let myself cool down from this frustrating circumstance and then sent a message to my B and sister-in-law saying that I love my niece but I no longer feel comfortable caring for her on my own because of the way that things have been communicated and, in my opinion, seriously misconstrued. This meant I'm no longer on the list of people that can be called last minute to watch her or pick her up from school. B and sister-in-law then started telling family members that I don't want a relationship with my niece and I'm taking out my anger on her. They also said that I am depriving her of a safe person to pick her up if something comes up. My parents talked to them and my brother then says that they also caught me yelling at my niece on the nanny cam. I know this is untrue because she is a perfect angel every time I watch her. She's truly the sweetest child. Never have I even had a reason to raise my voice at my niece. My parents were immediately suspicious of this accusation for the same reasons above and knowing how I am with children and my niece in particular. They asked if B and sister-in-law had confronted me about this, to which they said no because I will just deny it. Parents then said, "What does a resolution look like to you? Because we are not sure how to help without understanding what you want." B and sister-in-law replied that they want an apology for me taking my name off of the list of people that could watch their child and to be available to watch her again. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my niece? Not the asshole honestly, ask to review the tape. Call them out. Make them accountable. Not the asshole. And if it were me, I would never watch niece again. Not because I wouldn't want to spend time with niece but because you never know if they'll make bigger, more serious unfounded accusations that could have bigger consequences for you or your partner. Not the asshole, they sound super manipulative and controlling. Don't even bother with people who make shit up. Also, let anyone who repeats their accusations know that they want you to apologize for removing yourself from her school pickup and continue to watch niece. If you were so horrible, why are they still asking you to watch her? Also, I would communicate only via text with them from now on. You're not the asshole. Hasn't anyone noticed that they are spreading a bunch of stories that make it sound as though you're a terrible and unreliable babysitter, yet the resolution they want is for you to babysit? One would think you are the last person they would want to have care for their child, considering their allegations. The only solution for you is to tell them you're obviously unqualified to watch their child and they will need to make other arrangements. Not the asshole. They have made strong allegations against you and you have to protect yourself and your reputation. They made their bed, they get to lie in it. Not the asshole.
The sense of entitlement of these people demanding an apology because you exercised your right to not take care of the child in future. They're also trying to guilt trip you regarding depriving her of a safe person to pick her up from school.
They've already made accusations against you, twice now.
I think for your own peace of mind, the best thing to do is to not take care of her, so that they can't level any more accusations when they don't get their own way. If you did the things they accuse you of, such as not watching her, or shouting, then why would they be so angry at the prospect of you not taking care of her anymore? Why are they demanding that you do?
They wouldn't want somebody who does these things to mind their child. They're telling on themselves. Am I the asshole for snapping at my stepsister after she tried to get her mom to ruin a trip? Throw away because I have family on my main account. I have a stepsister, Ellie, who is the same age as me.
Ellie has a brother, Seb, who is 2 years older than us. Our parents, my dad, their mom, got married 3 years ago. Seb has 30/70ths time at his mom's, while I have 70/30ths at my mom's. Ellie has 90/10ths at her mom's.
Seb and I are close, but Ellie isn't close to either of us.
Pretty much the only reason I go to my dad's as often as I do is because Seb is there.
But it's become really miserable to go there because of Ellie. She's incredibly self-centered, obnoxious, jealous, and just exhausting to be around because she is a professional victim. Ellie is bullied in school and apparently has been for her whole life, so doesn't have any of her own friends. Because of this, her mom always forces Seb and me to take her everywhere with us, and it's really difficult for us to just hang out in a room without her. Ellie actively participates in this by tattling on us and demanding her mom tell us to include her.
When Seb isn't there, it's not as bad because my dad won't force me to do anything, but since he's not Seb and Ellie's parent, he doesn't intervene. 4 days ago I was at my dad's and I mentioned to my dad that I had been invited to go with Seb and his dad to a sporting event in July. Ellie overheard this, I didn't know she was home, and went to tattle to her mom, who came down and interrogated me.
I only answered when the event was because beyond that she should be talking to her ex, and my dad said as much.
Ellie said it wasn't fair that Seb was taking me and not her, and her mom agreed and said she would fix it, and Ellie had this smug smile on her face, which was the last straw. I said she is a cruel person for ruining this and for never wanting anyone to be happy except herself. I also said that I have no idea what enjoyment she gets from forcing her presence on people because it doesn't make anyone like her, and if it's just fun for her to make me and her brother miserable, then that should embarrass her. Then I told my dad he's being a crappy dad for not standing up for me more, and I went back to my mom's. Apparently things devolved into Caplet's chaos after I left. Ellie cried for hours and according to my dad won't speak to anyone now and has taken 2 days off school. Her mom is livid with me, and her ex for letting Seb invite me on the trip, and Seb for inviting me.
Also now neither I or Seb really want to go over there because it's a shit show, so that's caused issues between all the parents.
My dad is saying this is my fault for saying all that to Ellie and that I need to apologize.
I don't think I do, because honestly I think someone else's Ellie's life should have said that to her earlier.
Maybe I was harsh about it, but it's something she needs to think about.
Even my mom is saying I overdid it and should have let the parents handle it. Question: is there a reason she is being bullied, and is she truly being bullied?
Is it a result of the way she interacts with people, or is she truly being made a target from a mean group of kids at school?
She's incredibly self-centered, obnoxious, jealous, and just exhausting to be around because she is a professional victim. Ellie is bullied in school and apparently has been for her whole life, so doesn't have any of her own friends. These traits might not get her bullied, but would definitely have people just simply refuse to be around her. Add judgment, not the asshole, but Ellie's mom definitely is. Even her own brother doesn't want to spend any time with her. Mom is right. The adults should handle it, but they have failed to do so. It's way past time for someone to address Ellie's behavior. An argument could be made that you were too harsh, but you won't hear it from me. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Most of kids have at least one friend.
It is very odd that she doesn't have anyone.
To me it sounds like she enjoys making you feel miserable.
You didn't do anything wrong. You only spoke as your father and her mother have failed to talk to her.
I wouldn't go back there if I were you. It tells a lot that neither of you want to go there. But keep seeing Seb. Not the asshole. How old are you, Seb, and Ellie? Quite frankly, your dad and their mom have failed as parents by forcing this dynamic on you.
They aren't helping Ellie either by making others resent her and spoiling her rotten. Not the asshole your dad is saying that because he now has to live with the fallout from all this, but it's partly his fault too. Indeed, he should stand up for you more. Ellie is entitled and her mom is just enabling that shitty behavior.
She's going to be a real treat later in life when she's an adult and presumably out on her own. Not the asshole. So many of these situations should never get this far.
Maybe I was harsh about it, but it's something she needs to think about.
Even my mom is saying I overdid it and should have let the parents handle it.
Except, the parents actively weren't handling it. Had they handled things, they would never have got this far.